Hey everyone, here is another newer script that we will go over. It's about checking the other server connectivity. Of course, you need to know all the time if you are in a bigger environment, you need to know if your other servers are actually reachable and pingable. Now, I know there are a lot of monitoring solutions that are out there that a lot of companies have. They actually those are monitor the servers, they monitor the health check and everything. But still, once in a while, you do need to actually ping other servers or remote servers that actually tells you if they are alive or they are down. So this lesson is about pinging other servers. What we're gonna do is we actually gonna create a script to check the status of the remote host or host, and we'll find out if it is pingable or not. Very simple script. We actually have to combine in this script. We have to combine if else statements. We will have to actually combine do while statement together, and you will see how we could ping other servers. I have my Linux machine open, and I also have a quick document here, you could say a cheat sheet, which already I have a script written there. Because if I go over completely blank with you, I might forget and I might lose time, and I definitely don't want to do that. I definitely don't want to lose my time and your time. So, anyway, the first thing I wanted to do is I do want to mention one thing that previously we actually created a directory called professional scripts. Now I noticed this whole directory is a very long directory. Let's make it short. So this way it will be easier to actually change directory from one place to another. So I'm gonna just do move professional directory scripts to PS. Just simple as that. Now you'll see I have a directory called PS. When I go to PS, which stands for professional scripts, and now I have all my scripts. So just to start off with that, now let's start creating our first script that is going to ping an IP address. Now the IP address that I have selected is the IP address of my home modem, which is 192.168.1.1. And most likely, if you are in a home environment, not in the office, then your IP address is the same as 192.168.1.1. If it is not the same, then you could go find out the default gateway IP just to test if you could ping it or not. Or you could just ping, or you could just pick any IP that you could test your script against. So I have picked 192.168.1.1. This is my IP that I'm going to test. Um, so let's first create a script, and I'm going to call the script ping script. Okay, and this is the first time I will copy later on, so I'm just going to quickly do the information. Date, description. This script will ping a remote host and notify, of course. Then modified, and since this is the first time, and I am going to leave that data as okay. Now let's get into the real work. Now we define the variable. Now ping. I'm sure you guys know what a ping script is. Ping goes out on the remote host, ping an IP address, and tell you if a host is available or not. So let me just write and quit out of this script. Make sure you save it. And just if you don't know ping, then just type ping 192.168.1.1, and you will see you are getting 64 byte back from this machine. It means there is a machine out there with that IP address and it is reachable. Anyway, so now let's go back to our script. So what we are trying to do with the script is we want to ping. Minus C is count, just ping once. the IP 192.168.1.1. Now as you go along, you're probably thinking, hey, how come Imran knows all those different options to specify? How can he remembers? How can he just pick really quick? Well, to be honest, I don't remember. There are many times I just go online, I Google it, and I get the options. So if I want to Google ping only once, I'll type ping only once in shell script or ping only once a remote host, and it will give me the option that I'm looking for. So don't worry about it. You're not the one that you're thinking, hey, my memory sucks. I'm not gonna remember that. Trust me, my memory is probably worse than yours. So don't worry about it. If you forget anything, go online and search for it, and you will get it as long as you type exactly what you're looking for. All right, moving forward. So we are pinging this IP. All right, it will ping. It will ping one time. Perfect. Now, what will happen? What are you trying to do when it pings? Okay, we are trying to say is if single bracket dollar question mark. Now, what is a dollar question mark? Dollar question mark is the output of all the command that you run. By default, the dollar question mark returns two values. One is 0, which is that yes, it ran successfully, or anything else. So these are the exit status. If you don't know the differences between exit status, you could look it up. But there are mostly two exit status that I usually rely on: exit status 1 and 0. So dollar question mark, if the return of my command above, which is ping minus C1, the IP address, is equal to 0. Okay. You see, if the return value is equal to 0, which means it did run, it was successful, then since we are in if else then statements, we have to specify then tab. As I said previously, always put tabs so it will look neat and clean. Then what do you want to do? That the ping is successful, the host is reachable. Then what do you want to do? Well, simply say okay, how's that? Just that simple. All right, perfect. Now, what if you don't get the 0 status, which is it can't ping it? Then what do you want to do? Then is what else? If that doesn't work, then what else? Else echo not okay, right? So if do this, else do that. Okay, perfect. Now, every time you start if, you have to end it with fee. And that's pretty much it. Save your script, give executable permissions to your script, and now run the script. Let's create a screen and now run the script. Perfect. You see, it ran, and it ran one time, and it came back. It was successful. Statistics came back, one packet transmitted. This is all part of ping script. So we came back, the exit status was 0, which means it ran, and that's why I said, and that's why the script said it was okay. Perfect. Now what if I give an IP address? So I'll change my IP address right here. I have specified right here again. I'm going to change the IP address to 192.168.1.235. Now, how do I get that IP address? I just pinged some of the IP address in my home network. I'm sure if you're in a home network, your IP addresses are probably used from 2 to like 15 or 20 at least, because we have so many gadgets at home. But it's very highly unlikely that you're probably going to be at 235 IPs. So what I did is, before I picked that IP, I just simply pinged that IP. Okay. So you see, I pinged that IP, and that IP is not reachable. So that's why I just picked that IP. You could pick any IP that is not pingable either. So I'm gonna go back into my script, and this time I'm gonna change the IP to, instead of 1.1, I'm gonna change it to 235 and save it. And now when I run it, what should I get? It can't ping it, right? And it's going to come back and it's going to say, not okay. See, that's how the if else script works. And to ping other hosts, other devices, that is something that you will definitely will be working on. I'm sure if you are in system administrator or engineer or any kind of role, you probably will have to do that. Now, next one is, if you notice right here, I have this output coming in. That output, it's gonna give me that it ping, and then it will give me the not okay. Now, what if I'm just concerned that don't show me anything, just tell me if it is okay and if it's not okay. So what do we do here? As I have written down here, you could output, because right here when you do ping, it output to the screen. If you do not want that to be output on the screen, then there is this syntax that you have to specify. It says ampersand, um, greater than sign, and dev null. It means that you are outputting it to a dev null. Dev null is just a file in Linux. It's a null file. Every time you throw anything on dev null, it will just disappear. That's how it is. And I'm very hopeful you probably heard of that as well. So I'm gonna go back into my ping script, and this time I am going to tell it that, you know what? Don't throw the messages on the screen. I don't care about the message. All I care about is what is the outcome. Is it okay or is it not okay? Now I will run it. Now, if you see, now let me clear the screen so you will see it will come up very nice and neat and clean. See, it's not throwing all those messages. All I'm going to get is not okay. That's what I care about. So many times you don't really want to see all that junk on the screen, because that will not only confuse you, but it'll take your time to actually read through it and what exactly you're looking for. So if I change the IP back to 1, then I should get okay. Simply and straightforward. Just okay. Perfect. Now, next thing I want to cover is, what if you want to define that IP in a variable? Meaning, you put that IP in front of a variable. So instead of just pinging the straight IP, you ping the variable. Why do I do that? Because many times you do want to add multiple hosts, or certain things that you want to you probably want to ping multiple times. Then you don't want to specify IP again and again and again. You just specify one time and then let do the host do itself. So I'm going to go back into ping script, and now I'm going to put in variable right here. And variable I'm going to do is host equal sign code 192.168.1.1 code close. That's my variable. Now instead of ping the IP, what I'm going to say is ping the host and $host, right? And this time I'm going to make my script a little fancier. I'm going to say if ping this host, which is this variable, and output to a dev null. If the output is successful, then okay. Instead of just okay, I'm gonna say host, the IP is okay, is okay. And else, if that IP is not pingable, then host is not okay. You see, I used my variable so efficiently. Now I used it in three different places. I don't have to specify IP here. IP here. I don't have to specify IP here. I don't have to specify IP here. I have specified the IP just one time as a variable right here, and now I'm just going to use that variable or that container, and I'm going to use it again and again and again. Okay, so let's run it. Nice, right? IP that I'm trying to ping is okay. So now it's very specific. That's telling me that this is the IP that you're trying to ping, and it is okay not to worry about it. Now, what if I change the IP to 235, which is, of course, one of my IP that is not pingable, that is not assigned. And now let's clear the screen so we could see better. Ping script. It's going to ping. And the reason it takes a little longer because sometimes ping just waits for it to respond. It's by default, it just waits for it. Anyway, so you see it came back. It says 192.168.1.235 is not okay. Perfect. See how we actually made the use of variable here, and we used if and else statements, and we are putting the variables in place. Again, now next one is changing IP. We already did that. Perfect. Now the next one is a little complicated one, but it's easy if we do it together. Okay. Now, what if you wanted to ping multiple IP address in one script? Okay, one IP, I could ping it, right? I don't even have to create a script to ping that. Right. I understand. You're probably thinking that. But the reason we start off with one IP is so you would understand. What if you wanted to ping 100 servers? Now things get interesting. Now you really need to have that script, right? Okay. So first of all, what you need to do is you need to put that IP addresses that you want to ping to a file. So I'm gonna create a file and I'm gonna call it um, my host. And I'm gonna put in the IP address of 192.168.1.1, and the second one I'm gonna put it 192.168.1.235. So now since we are working on only two IPs, if you have multiple IPs, you want to try it, please go ahead. Now save. Now this is just an empty file. Oh, sorry, this is just a flat file. And let's do my host, and you'll see it has two IP address. Now instead of changing the existing script, I am going to create a new script. And of course, I'm not going to create a new script from scratch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy my ping script and I'm going to name it ping script dash all. So this way it will identify that this is for all multiple Linux servers or multiple hosts. Okay, now vi ping script dash all. You see everything here is done, but I just have to change the description. It says this script will ping a remote host, not a remote host, multiple remote hosts. Make sure you change this description. It's very important. Okay, now we're gonna come in, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna simply you know what? Let's first get rid of this variable host. I'm going to start it from here. What are those hosts? So this is the variable, and variable is what? You have to specify the location of your file. So that is slash home, I of Sol, slash PS for professional scripts. Remember we did that? And what was the name we picked for the flat file? Was it hosts? I'm not sure actually. Let me go check. So please make sure this location and this host file is correct. Otherwise, the script is gonna complain. No, I specified my host, and it is home IFL PS directory. My host. Okay, perfect. So now here is the location of the file that has all my multiple host. Okay, perfect. Now, I wanted to use for loop for that. Why? Because for loop allows you to go through the script once, twice, or as many times until everything is being read or everything is been satisfied. So if I don't specify for loop, what will happen is it will pick the first IP in the list and it will be done. It's not going to go through the second IP. That's why we have to specify for loop for IP. Now, why I picked IP? IP is just a container again. It's just a variable. You could just pick anything. For IP in and dollar parentheses in where cat specify dollar host. Okay, now you see what I did for IP. I'm creating a container, another container IP in, and I'm catting this etc host file. What is, sorry, not etc host file. I'm catting this dollar host files. What is dollar host file? Dollar host file is this home ifzol ps my host. So this is what I'm telling for IP in, put everything that comes from this result cat host, put everything in IP. All right, perfect. I will do that. Now, what else do you want me to do? Now, do, because you have to specify what exactly. Once you do, for always has to have a do. For, do, done. For, while, do. Okay, so for, okay. Now, what do you want me to do? I'm going to do is I'm going to move this one tab over, and I'm going to say ping C1, same thing. And now instead of host, I want to do IP, because right here it says IP, right? This is the container. I'm specifying it right here. Now you're probably thinking, hey, Imran, why can't I just use the same variable? That's a good question. I don't know. Try it. Maybe it works. But this is how I actually go through my practice. And if you wanted to try it, please be my guest. Try it. If it works, perfect. All right, so IP. Okay. Going into dev null. Now coming back to our same script. If pound dollar question mark equals 0, then instead of host, now we are talking about IP. IP is, I put it there, ping pass, I'll just leave it as is. IP is okay. And the same thing here, IP is not okay. So by the way, this file that I am looking at it, I will attach that file with this lesson. So you don't have to worry about it. You could also copy paste if you make a mistake. Sometimes when you're writing a script, many times I would say even 80% or 85% of times you make mistakes. I make mistakes too. That's why I try to write it so there won't be any mistakes. Okay, so this is how it's going to do again. So hopefully you understand what I'm trying to get at. This is the variable, and what variable is going to do, it's going to specify the name of the file. Okay, now for IP, this is another variable, and it's saying that, you know what, go and read that file, cat that file. And that file is just $host. I don't know why I keep saying etc host. It's just so used to it saying etc host. Anyway, okay, do ping that whatever is inside of cat host and to go through the same scenario. Now, another thing, don't forget at the bottom when you have do, what do you have to have? Done. Same thing if you have fee, you have to have, sorry, if you have if, you have to have fee. If you have do, you have to have done. All right, perfect. Now let's run it. Let's verify we have it. Okay, we do. Ping script all. Hit enter. 192 1.1 is okay, and 192.168.1.235 is not okay. You see how it works? So that's how you could actually create a script that will have a multiple IP address or multiple host name and that you wanted to ping. And of course, if you wanted to run this script at a cron job, you could try that, but we'll cover that later as well. So just focus on this one and try it. And if you could seriously try to do a cron job that will automatically run at a certain time, try it. It will work. All right, good luck.